All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Watchmen recap with JVS and one Mr. Anthony. How's it going, gentlemen?
What's going on? What's going on? You back?
Drunk Geeks Journal. I've woken up into a podcast. I think they want my crackpot theory. No, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, man, we were supposed to do episode 2 last week, and I got busy, so I was like, you know what? I'll fold episode 2 and 3 together because both episodes were crazy and ridiculous, and they constantly push further things into the show. So, I guess we might as well just go dive into it and stuff. So, one thing is this: is Homegirl's boss? Is he part of the Rorschach people? Because he had the robe in the closet.
Wait, you talking about Don Johnson's character?
Yeah.
Because Regina's character found it, and it just rocked her whole world. And at the same exact day, she realized who her grandfather was.
I mean, it was obvious as soon as he was there. I was like, she has to be related because there's no way he's just chilling there and not, say anything. But Crawford, that's who it is. So you think Crawford is part of that group? Low key?
I don't think so. I think that he's got some other skeletons in his closet. Like, no pun intended. Like,
or his wife, maybe.
Well, I think. Did you see it? There was a frame when before he left out, before he got quote unquote killed, because I'm not exactly sure he got killed or was suicide or not. But before he left out, they did a close-up picture of what looked like a black and white picture of him as a young boy and his father. Yeah. And I'm wondering if his father was part of the Klan, and maybe he still has connections. Was one of the reasons he was able to buy peace or something like that. I'm not sure. I think there's more to it than him simply just being a part of the Rorschach group or whatever.
Yeah. But just to kind of start off here, so one of the things, like, if episode 1 showed the Black Wall Street Massacre, episode 2 also hit something else with history that I wasn't aware of, and the fact that Germans legit were throwing propaganda at black people on, hey, why are you fighting for America? They don't like you guys. Yeah. Like, and I didn't know that was a real thing until somebody wrote an article saying, oh, that letter was real. That's like legit.
Yeah, it was real, and also Black Americans have been targeted by like intelligence groups from around the world to because you go for the disenfranchised people, right?
Yeah.
And they so they've had that, and there was also a scene in Dead Presidents where they found a note saying black men go home, this is your war or something like that.
Yeah.
So I wonder, I don't know much about Vietnam. I knew the World War I thing. And but I wonder if that's a common thing in wars going. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, other countries already know there's like racism in this country, so why not use it against us?
In fact, my grandmother's brother fought over, I think it was World War II, and some white enlisted guy said something to him, and he whipped his he beat him
we
up.
Cuss on this.
And apparently he just stayed in Germany. So
that's the thing. Like, I don't think Germans were really fond. I mean, look, Germany has a history with Jewish people, so I'm like, I don't think they were fond of black people. So that's kind of weird, a bit.
Yeah, I mean, going back, what was that movie with your boy Jackson? Mudbound. Like, he legit had a whole wife and a better life, overseas, just because I mean, I think there's been other, films that kind of depicted this, but I've always kind of assumed the same. And I think that even the opening of this was just as interestingly jarring. But it is, man, I give it to the creators and the writers for just going for it, man. They really just don't care what the racial biases or the people that feel offended think. Yeah. They're just like, you know what? I'm going to tell you this story and you're going to take it.
Well, I think it's low key. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's like, it throws me off in a way, but I'm smiling. They're treating the white people in this thing like black people. Like, yo, we're going to round all these white people up. we're gonna interrogate them. And I was like, yo.
Right. And I think they're low key. This is a good vehicle for a lot of issues that are coming up more frequently nowadays, like reparations and even I was trying to explain to somebody else. Like a lot of us have heard about Black Wall Street before, right? And then when Rosewood came out, like 20 years ago now, I guess, and things like that. But we never knew the extent. Like you know what I mean? Like you didn't know that there was bomb or dynamite being thrown from planes and all this stuff. And to see it on screen. Because I was talking to another group and like a black cosplayers and people were getting mad like, what do they mean they don't know about it? And I was like, well, we didn't really know about it. You know what I mean? They don't teach this stuff in school. And I think having this in a big on HBO on an HBO block on Sunday would I think there's a lot of people going back like, is this real or is this for the show? Can we, you know what I mean? And I think it shows, hey, this is this angle of what African Americans had to deal with, and this is what the angle of what cops have to deal with. Because that black cop getting shot by the white guy that he thought that was kind of suspicious and everything, and then having to unlock his gun and then not working properly. Like I can see a lot of us doing a bill like, yeah, cops should have to get permission to unlock their guns, but then what goes right on a bill and what's good practically doesn't always line up. Exactly. And I like how it's not just from one angle. It's from a lot of different angles. Low key, this show is a really good vehicle for a lot of issues.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because the thing of it is too, like, so you have that whole thing with World War One, and it was like crazy and stuff. But also too, they in episode 3, they put the tidbit that this whole thing with reparations, and correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe I'm seeing it wrong. I think Tulsa is the only state that's really like doing the reparations thing. I don't think any other state is showing that.
I don't think so either.
Because the guy said that like Tulsa, black people coming to Tulsa and getting their land and building up money and blah blah blah. I was like, oh, so Tulsa's the only place in this universe that has like some sort of reparations thing happen. Which to me is just like what's how I mean, can we get legit reparations right now?
Well, and I think that's a possibility. Because I think the DNA scanner thing said the same thing. If you're not from a descendant from this particular area, you can't get it. But I think that's interesting too, because you're seeing the social ramifications of Black Americans getting reparations and how that might make other cultures feel and things like that. Like
because of Robert Redford, not Reagan, Robert Redford. Right. Key figure too, because people forget because it was like, well, why is it Robert Redford? When people forget Ronald Reagan was an actor back in the day, so it's like Robert Redford is the actor that's president. And he's like more on the liberal side of things, so that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I think another thing about this show that I find it so fascinating is that we're only in Tulsa. We don't know what the rest of the world is like
at all.
And I find that so fascinating.
Except like, Vietnam's now a state, apparently.
Vietnam's a state. Yeah, I mean, she says it. Episode 1 is like, I grew up in Saigon, and and I basically migrated to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Can I say I was one of the bandwagon of like. I'm always skeptical about people adapting Adam Moore's work or going forward in it. And I was really skeptical about this show because it could have been a lot of different things. Yeah. And I think they have the tone of Watchmen down really well.
They do.
They have to. They had to, because you can't. And see, that's the weird thing. Like I said, again, I don't want to compare it to Zack Snyder's movie, but like, I get what Zack Snyder was trying to do, but it was more stylized. Mm-hmm. Which is fine. It was fine for the movie and stuff, but I can see where the disconnect was with a lot of folks. But with this movie, with this show, it is very grounded and kind of taking all the themes of what. Because people sit there and say, because it was funny that a lot of people, as you see these 3 episodes in so far, Alan Moore was looking at people that was like, oh my God, every time somebody came up to him was like, oh my God, I love Rorschach. He's my favorite hero. And Alan Moore looked at him like, no, Rorschach should not be your hero, dude. Like, no. Like, and don't get it twisted. The cavalry is kind of taking Rorschach's, like, his beliefs and kind of fucking it up even way worse than what his beliefs were, which what happens in real life. And like Rorschach is really a hero. Yeah, Rorschach isn't really a guy that you want to be as a hero, so it's like, no.
Right, he's a cautionary tale, and if you look at the things he talks about, like possible homosexual have to investigate, or like the things he says, he's a really tortured character who's almost begging at the end to die, and messages get distorted. But I also think Like if Rorschach suddenly came back, he'd probably drop a lot of these guys down elevator shafts. So
yeah.
But you know what's funny too? Like episode 3, when that FBI agent brought up the Rorschach's journal inside
the FBI meeting.
FBI meeting and stuff, and the FBI guy was like, "Dog, is this the '80s? No, get that out of here. No, But he was like, but he tried to pull the whole, well, it's the 7th Cavalry. They're using the Rorschach's mask. He's like, yeah, that doesn't matter though. Like the 7th Cavalry clearly isn't like Rorschach, so no, get that out of here. Like no.
But I did think it was very myopic of because that FBI guy had some interesting lines in his short
He knew everything.
dialogue.
He knew everything.
Everything.
And he was like, because white people don't like up and coming minority. I was like, God damn, HBO.
I mean, they just put it on. I mean, they just put that crap on Front Street. It was like, you don't care.
So yeah, I wonder. I don't know. I really like how they've evolved the world, and it would have been really easy to do the exact same story. You know how we're getting a lot of like soft reboots of people doing the exact same story, like Terminators and Force Awakens, things like that. It'd been really easy to do a softcore reboot of the Watchmen now
from the beginning,
But instead, they evolved the story and said, all right, if everything just kept going from these events, how would they treat it? How would Rorschach's message get twisted? How would how would the world treat Dr. Manhattan just chilling on Mars? And they were also really ballsy to go not to use the comic book and not the movie. Like that was super ballsy. And I don't know whether if Game of Thrones wasn't ending, I don't know whether this show would have got picked up. I don't know.
I mean, it's and the thing of it is too, like what was crazy too was seeing, because everything about episode 2 was interesting. It was that they rolled to that trailer park place with all, like, you might as well say all the white people and stuff are chilling at. And just seeing like how all the white folks there were reacting to the police being there. Again, it's kind of like how we as black people would be looking at them like, what are you doing here? And they were just corralling them in there and just everything. It was just crazy. Like everything that was happening, it was just stark seeing that. And that's on top of the fact that Angela is sitting there kind of like trying to piece it all together and figure it out, because again you have this you have what's his face what the dude's name
Looking Glass?
Will.
Red Square.
Will in the wheelchair. He's like kind of giving her like clues and riddles and stuff, like he's the Riddler and stuff, and she's just trying to figure it all out and talking about skeletons in the closet. And he rolls up in there and she sees the 7th Cavalry uniform, and she's just like, what does this all mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it,
Will's, how like the sprout off theories, Will's the one that I really haven't come up with a concrete, like, what this is yet. And and I haven't had a chance to go back and reread Watchmen because I really want to, because there's been some deep cuts that I've caught. Like Hooded Justice. Am I getting the name right?
Yeah, Hooded Justice. He was in the opening sequence of the Watchmen movie.
Right. But the whole thing about Strongman being shot, like there's a lot of deep cuts from the comic that I really think I need to take time and just reread it now.
You really should, Anthony. I can't say more than that, but you really should. I told Lucas the same exact thing. Like you really should go back and read the comic. It's gonna change the whole perception of the whole entire show. And I think that, to your point, when it talk about Angela talking with her grandfather, I mean, it's just so much mystery behind him. Even the way he left at the end of the episode, you're like, who is this dude?
I mean, because he's just like, because if, we know he didn't hang up. We didn't hang up Homeboy. So clearly somebody else did. But episode 3 implies maybe he hung himself up because of the pressure, possibly, which that would make sense if he has that robe in the closet, or maybe his wife is part of the 7th Cavalry or whatever and stuff, and just that. So I don't know, man.
Somebody put the whatchamacallit in blue.
The spikes in the road. Yeah. But see, I think so. We got a call and he said so and so woke up. We never actually saw that cop woke up. The cop that got shot. Yeah. He left. Didn't take the entourage or whatever. What am I trying to say? Protection from the other cops. Didn't take it like he said he was. Yeah. Tires blew out. There are people there. There must have been a conversation, and then Will's there. So there is something. There is something going on. I just don't think it's as simple as he was killed by the 7th Cavalry or he was, I don't even think he was killed really. Like, there's a lot. But you know what I love about this show is I miss shows that I had mystery that I could think about and go through theory. Be proven wrong. Be proven dead wrong about something, but it sparks more thought.
I mean, we might as well go deep into this because Anthony threw out a theory that blew my mind. So, Adrian Veidt, we found out in 3 that he's on a preserve, so to speak, and Anthony had a theory. You want to tell the folks what the theory was?
So I've been thinking about this since episode 2. That I think that in the first episode they talk about how he's finally declared dead, right? Mm-hmm. And when you're declared dead, it's usually like you're missing and they can't find you after a certain number of legal years. I don't know what the actual real. It might be 5. I don't know, but it's whatever the real years are. They declare you dead. And we know that he has these kind of like cloned minions that are kind of off. Handing you a horseshoe that's supposed to be a knife and stuff like that. What my theory is right now is that he's on Mars. Dr. Manhattan said he was going to go create life. He created a little preserve for him. Like, I can't stop your plan because your plan does bring peace, but you can't get away with this. I'm going to stick you on Mars and just stay up here and create this stuff. Mm-hmm. I think that him making that kind of spacesuit out of materials around, because you notice he doesn't have any modern tools or modern technology, and he's making use of what he has on hand. Mm-hmm. I think that rope thing, whether him going past the barrier to see if he could survive, pulled it back, didn't work. I think that the game warden, when the game warden stopped him, they read a letter, and he's like, read the letter, and he's like, well, dear Mass. And he said, no, just go to the skip the pleasantries, go right to the point. At first, it's like, are they going to call him mass murder? And then I was like, what if they called him master? What if the game warden's another one of those pseudo-humans? Because I think Dr. Manhattan made these pseudo-humans. And like, here, they'll take care of your needs. You can have sex with them. They'll cook for you. Whatever you need to do, go. And then I wonder if that game warden's another one. It was going to say, dear master, please don't leave here because my job is to keep you here per your agreement or something like that. So I think he's on Mars, but he's definitely in an area that's made for him. Because also you had those tomatoes that grew on the trees, and then there's a lot. And I just wonder. I wonder if the structures and the things that Dr. Manhattan is doing is this preserve or something like it. And another cut to that is they're real sure that Dr. Manhattan can't look like regular people, and I'm not really sure why that is. I don't know why they're so sure he can't look like regular people.
Probably because of the whole idea of him being blue and stuff, but yeah. Because I thought Veidt was just somewhere else in another part of the world until I saw him doing that whole thing with the mask, and I'm like, what is he doing? Like, and I'm like, oh yeah, this might go into the theory. He's basically on punishment, like.
Yeah. And he's been there for 30 years or so.
He's clearly fed up. Clearly he is. And the thing is, it makes me wonder, is Manhattan going to stop him, or is just Manhattan can't really examine what he's doing?
I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. And again, I could be dead wrong. I think Sam has more information than we do based on his looks. I don't know if you guys got too much. He's
Sam almost for 6 episodes, so he's
almost twirling his mustache. Like,
Sam is the first episode, so he knows what's up. He already knows what's up, so it's no problem.
I don't have any inputs to this theory. I don't have anything to say. I plead the fifth. I know nothing.
All I'm saying is, it's just like when they revealed the fact that it was clones, I wasn't surprised given how like they were acting in the first episode. So when they got to the second episode, and then he burned homeboy as though he was Dr. Manhattan, and the other one came down, I'm like, oh, Veidt must know how to clone people. Huh. That's interesting.
Because he did work with genetics. He cloned that chimera looking thing. But also, it's how he treated them too. Like, he doesn't, and even though he did kill a lot of people, he never treated people. You know what I mean? As
like a piece of shit. He just like, hey, I'm treating you like a regular person, but sacrifice is gonna be made, so you're gonna have to burn.
Right. So that all led into my thoughts on that. And like I said, I could be wrong, but I enjoy just that it's sparking my mind to go, okay, what if this is happening, and what if this is happening? What if this? And that's to me, that's a sign of good writing.
I completely agree. Another thing I was going to mention, and you kind of touched on it, when it comes to the flipping the script on different, racial perspectives, people's biases, people's like worries and fears, like police brutality. Okay, let's take that, right, and put that and implement that on episode 2. Did the police use police brutality going against the 7th Cavalry? I mean, take it like this. You're a 7th Cavalry person. You're looking at like, yo, these dudes might kill me for real. And it's kind of just like, it's in your face. It's like, even from Angela's perspective, Angela didn't really want to do it. She didn't want to even get involved. Yeah. But somebody tried her, and she almost killed the dude. I don't even know if she did kill the guy. I really don't know.
She beat the hell out of him, and she didn't stop it. And she didn't stop it because that's her brothers in yellow mask or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. Police brutality. And it's like, we could say like, oh, well, they had it coming, but
I mean, see now here's the thing that I liked about episode 3, Laurie. I felt in the books and even in the movie, we understood Laurie had issues with her mom, and she got over those issues. She had a relationship with Dr. Manhattan, and she had a relationship with Owlman. But it seems like the years have really hit Laurie hard in this episode. Like, she's going through it in her own way. Like, she's like, the whole episode is her talking or leaving a message for Dr. Manhattan, thinking that maybe he might hear it.
I think her intro was great, but I also think like it's really great that she almost became kind of like her mom in a way. Mm-hmm. She reminded me a lot of her mom, and but I gotta say, her character intro, this whole arc, like, she's shown that character like stole the show in every scene that she was in. I know we're going back a little bit. Anybody ever see that movie, that John Travolta movie, White Man's Burden? Has anybody ever seen that?
Yeah, that was an interesting movie.
And it never comes on a lot, but like that, this whole thing about how they're flipping the script, that really reminds me a lot of that. But yeah, I thought I loved how Silk spoke, because again, I could see Silk Spectre going forward, and there's even mystery about what's happened to her the last 30 years.
Yeah, because she's jaded, she's worn.
Jaded is an understatement, sir.
She has her dad's sensibility and mind. Like, she legit has all these different thoughts and quips that sound just like the comedian. Like, she's a hybrid, for real, of her mom and her dad, and it's scary.
And she took his last name. Mm-hmm. And even referred to her as father. Referred to him as father.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real about this too. It's not surprising, because think about it. The comedian, when he got older, started to become very cynical about superheroes.
Yeah.
Even, like I said, you look at the movie and even look at the comic and stuff, he just got to the point to where this shit's all a fucking joke. Like, what is this?
Well, like, also think of the things that she's seen. I was thinking about that because I rewatched it tonight because I knew we were going to talk about it. Yeah. And I was just thinking, think about the stuff that she's seen. Like, she's walked on the surface of Mars. Like she knows the truth about New York. She knows about these weird squid things that are showing up, and and also the 2 men that she loves. One's locked up and one, quote unquote, abandoned her, right? Yeah. And one probably, I'm guessing, Night Owl couldn't give up being a vigilante. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Clearly, she said he went to hell. So either A, he somehow suited up and got killed for his troubles, hence why she's kind of like on like, yo.
Oh no, he's locked up.
No, he's in prison. That was what her police captain was talking about when they were having the conversation.
The
like,
see, I must have misheard that line, because when she said he went to hell, I was assuming that he's died.
I'm sure prison isn't nice.
Well, prison, especially for a superhero. I mean, especially if they know he's Owlman, and how many people he put in prison as Owlman back, so
right.
Yeah. So what? Yeah, you're right.
And Senator Keene Jr., which I love the fact that it got Senator Keene's son to be like, that's such a deep cut. When he was like, I could even get your owl out that cage, and I was like, damn. And those are 2 men that she loves, or still thinks about, because she has an owl and she has a big shiny massager.
Look, man, she busted that shit out. I was like, whoa. So you're clearly missing Miss Dr. Manhattan.
Clearly. Yeah, but the artist made a big point of Dr. Manhattan not be packing. Like, they made it so Dr. Manhattan. So I don't know whether she's over there, exaggerating their mind or whatever. Because that.
I mean, I was just sitting there like when she busted that out, I was like, I got to get that screenshot right there because that is just like.
Speaking of which,
yeah.
When she opened the case first, I had this whole Pulp Fiction thing of, oh, what is in there? Is it some blue energy left over? Is it a teleporter? Is it? Not? Oh no, it's a massager. And
this is a massager. I mean,
oh, it was another thing in there too that I can't remember, but yeah, it's a very interesting character. So, and then she locks up vigilantes.
So, who do you think dropped that car in front of her?
So I rewatched it, and I didn't notice before. So I saw the first time that there was a red light that shone, but then it like blows up or something, or I don't know if that was exhaust going away. I don't know. I don't think it. I would be hard pressed to think it had anything to do with Dr. Manhattan though. But
that would be interesting if it is. I mean, but then again, it's like who else is powerful enough to do something like that?
Well, I mean, it got lifted up by a magnet, and I don't really see Dr. Manhattan needing a magnet. Like,
okay. Yeah.
So my thing, I'll say, I can't say much, is that did you guys pay attention to that car?
No.
Wasn't the car that got taken away with Will in it? Yeah.
I think so. I believe it was.
So that got lifted up by a magnet. I'm assuming it's an owl ship thing that took them. I don't know. And in the trailer for the next one, it looks like they had some things that were lifting heavy objects floating around that big tower thing. Yeah. So I don't know what that big tower thing is.
I mean, my only thing is that Will was in the car. He got lifted up, and then the car, it got thrown down.
Just happened to be in front of her.
It happened to be right at that moment, and Will is not in there. So that's all I'm going to say. But
yeah.
But nah, Jean Smart, she's chewing up lines, man. She is the perfect lawyer.
She does the job, man. She like I said, like Anthony said, just the aspect she's starting to come into her own like her dad more so than her mom now.
Yeah.
Again, it's the jaded attitude that she's really just kind of showing. And like I said, shout out to Jean Smart for playing her the way she is. She's just surly as hell and just like, yo, I don't care anymore. Like this is where I'm sitting at right now. I don't care.
That's what I was going to ask y'all. Did
slept with her partner.
Yeah.
She needed, but again, she just needed comfort. He was just there, and he was like,
I mean, she had to look like I got satisfied, but I mean,
am I not going to sleep with Silk Spectre? I don't care. She's 60. Like.
I mean, yeah, he's already like fixated on her.
Yeah.
Right. Did her joke get you?
That joke was funny though. I ain't gonna lie.
What, the whole joke, the whole entire thing?
Right. At the end because when she first said, I messed it up, I was like, that seems kind of weird. Does it memory issues? Doesn't seem like she has memory issues. And then when it landed at the end of the joke, I was like, oh. What were you gonna say? I think I cut you off, Sam.
No. I was just gonna say that. Do you remember when Angela came into contact with somebody that was running from her? The guy in the silver suit.
Mm-hmm.
And like he got away. I have a theory. I don't know this yet. I really don't know. I honestly don't know. My theory is that Laurie's partner is either that guy. No, it's gotta be. That's my theory for real. Because it just was too coincidental that he's so fixated on heroes that he wouldn't be one himself. But I don't know that. I really don't.
I was assuming it was the guy that she shot in the back and stuff, and he just came back as an FBI agent, maybe cut a deal and stuff. Because I thought it was, dude, it fucked me up because I'm like, why is she robbing the bank? I'm like, oh, you're trying to trap. Okay, I see what you're doing. That's a bit fucked up.
A bigger mystery to me is what happened during the home invasion, she stabbed the one guy. Nice sister stabbed the one guy, and then the second guy had the shotgun to her face. Didn't see her husband. You don't know what happened. You don't know what stopped it. And I've been trying to piece that together, but they've left very little crumbs.
Oh, you're talking about the initial, when she first stopped being like a cop officially, when she got shot.
Right.
Yeah, because they never showed how she lived through that. It doesn't make sense.
Right. And like she pushed her husband to the ground. The first guy that comes in, she stabs him. Another guy must have went past her husband, had the shotgun to her face. We don't know what happened after that. We don't know what the transition. Exactly. We know the chief didn't save her because he was getting shot up in his own house. Mm-hmm. I think there's more mystery there. I don't know if it's connected to the chief's death or what.
It could be. Wouldn't shock me. It really would not shock me in the least if it is connected. I mean,
but there's either someone saved her or there's a reason why they didn't kill her. And
it's just so much that around the chief that just doesn't add up. Between the chief and her grandfather, it just doesn't add up. The fact that the chief had Owlman's ship, that I still don't understand.
Well, it makes me wonder if Owlman at one point just said, "Hey, you guys can use my stuff," or maybe it happened after he got arrested.
Right? That they copied it and like
they confiscated confiscated and was like, "All right, well, we'll use Owlman's ship to do our job," so to speak.
Maybe every police department has one owl ship, you know, because you notice in the police, in the chief's room, he had like an owl coffee mug. It was an owl. There was like a lot
owl
of
glasses.
Right, and you know the night owl, the first night owl was a cop. Like he was the first cop that put a mask on to counteract the bad guys, and so I'm pretty sure the police actually probably have a lot of respect for at least the Owlman, the two Owlman vigilantes, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is, and I mentioned this the first time we did the discussion, is that the chief, some kind of way, miraculously survived the crash, and he wasn't even buckled in, and was the person that kicked the door out, and barely had all the way out, like barely had a scratch over his head,
basically.
And I was like, is this man Owlman for real? Like, it doesn't add up.
I thought he was too for a second. I'm like, oh, he is Owlman. All right.
So did I. From the trailers, I thought, okay, I guess Owlman became chief of police. That's what I thought happened.
I don't know. It's something don't add up, and I still don't know. 6 episodes in, I don't know. I really don't.
But Laurie would have had a different reaction if that was who he was. You know what I mean? And he died.
I mean,
I guess.
No.
You know what? I gotta be honest, man. I think this show did a great job of making you really want to see what happened. Because, like I said, it's interesting that, like, when you look at the end of Watchmen, the only people that survived was basically Silk Spectre, Adrian Veidt, and Owlman.
Night Owl too. I keep calling him Owlman. Night Owl too.
Yeah, Owlman is DC. Sorry, guys.
Right.
Night Owl 2. They survived it and stuff. So it's interesting to see, like, Adrian Veidt again. Like, you know what? Like you said, I believe. Like you said, I still. You know what, Anthony? I think your confirmation is confirmed that he probably is on Mars as punishment, because you can't have that dude on Earth running amok, doing whatever. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
And again, I can see Dr. Manhattan being like, all right, I mean, I'm not going to kill you because I'm off that tip. I'm respecting humanity right now, and I just killed Rorschach. I feel kind of bad about that. Your plan's going to work. I see your plan works, but you can't get away with this completely. So you're coming with me, and you know, I know you're going to die in this year, and then I'll go back and see Laurie after that. I mean, what's 30 years? The same thing to me.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, like seeing Adrian trying to find ways, because at one point he tries to get the buffalo. He's like, hey, I need thicker skin in order to get out there, and that's, like you said, that's when the game warden stopped him. But the fact that he's going back out to hunt as his, like, in the costume, I'm like, so what's the ramification for this? Because if the game warden shot at you for trying to get out of there, what is he going to do now that you're in costume?
Yeah. And also, let's point out that he killed a buffalo, a water buffalo, with a bow and arrow through the eye. And did a smile like, I still got it.
I mean, he's clearly getting tired of it, because, like I said, when he rolled down that hallway and just threw the freaking damn cake out on the floor, like, yo, I'm tired of this shit. This is getting old. It's getting old.
Also, that maybe the cake thing makes me think there's a weird thing with time going on too, because either the punishment is they do this celebration thing every day as part of his punishment, or we're seeing the progression of years, and I'm not sure which one it is. Because if it's every day they sing that song to him, Dr. Manhattan, that's a little fucked up.
With the honeycomb cake.
Right.
I mean, it's and then, like I said, in the middle of all this, we got Angela, who, I gotta admit, man, when that dude had the suicide bomb vest, And I was like, okay, what's gonna happen? Because I was like,
Yeah,
is King
seriously.
Jr. gonna die? What's gonna happen? And again, Laurie did what I knew she was gonna do. She just shot him. Like, okay, I did it. I'm like, did you not think that he has a bomb? And I like how Angela looked at her like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And I knew she was gonna drag into the thing. I didn't think she was gonna throw the casket over top of it. I was like, okay. So now her boy is exploded into pieces.
So about that scene, I love the comment after that where she was like, "Hey, I'm sorry. Most of these guys say it's connected to their heart, but it's really not." I was like, "That's perfect." But also, I know I'm jumping over the place because every time y'all say something makes me think of something
No.
else.
We're jumping all over the place. We're jumping all over the place. It's not like we're going on like in order here.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
have
So
to kind of go all anyway.
The dialogue between Laurie, Angela, Looking Glass has been so great. Even when she went in the pod and she made a point to use his name, she made a point to make fun of his mask by saying, "I'm gonna pick my teeth out of it." And when he was like, "Can I have the control back? Not gonna have the remote back. Not gonna have the. Can I have the control back?" And she looked at it, "I'm giving you this control," and he put it in his pocket. The dialogue, the subtlety of the dialogue, and how she is. From the naive girl that first got with Dr. Manhattan back in the day, through all the stuff she's seen and the expert of a time she is, to this person now, she's been played with mind games with the best. Like she's had Veidt out there. She's been the most powerful. She's been around the most powerful being in the universe they know of, and so nothing else is really going to shake her. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the thing of it is too. It's just like, and thing of it is, she knows she automatically knows that Angela is protecting Will.
Yeah. Like, also, Angela's response back of "ooh."
Yeah, I mean, she's just like, and like, okay, cool.
And pour the coffee in the hole.
That was hilarious.
Oh man, the writing on this show is who writes this? Who's writing this?
Episode. I want to say,
The Leftovers. The creator
that
of
makes
the
sense.
Leftovers.
Yeah, Damon.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Damon Lindorf and Lila Biak wrote episode 3.
And they worked on the Leftovers.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
And then Nick Cuse wrote episode 2. So yeah. So definitely, they're definitely hitting on all cylinders on this, man. You gotta really kind of nail it on there and stuff, because Nick Cuse is also, I think Damon got all his leftover writers for the show, because Nick Cuse also wrote for the show too as well. So.
Well, I like that show, and that show is heavily off of like situation, dialogue, and human emotion, and I think that's perfect for
the Rapture stuff. So background to the Leftovers, and that threw me off when I was watching it. So I was like, oh, we're not focusing on the leftover. We're not focusing on the Rapture stuff. We're focusing on like how people are basically dealing with this. Okay,
right? Yeah. Which that's the only thing that Endgame kind of. Like, after you see the Leftovers and then you do the 5-year snap for Endgame, you're like, man, I'm glad you saw the support groups and how some lives are kind of messed up, but like, y'all go, like, you can't go back to Peter Parker.
Saying, to be fair though, they are saying that a lot of the Disney Plus stuff is going to address that. So it's just like, I mean, because they said a lot of Disney Plus shows are going to address like how that 5-year gap affected a lot of folks. Like, you gotta. You can't just scoff over that. I'm pretty sure Falcon Bucky is going to address that shit, because, like I said, with Zemo out there, clearly, there's a power vacuum out there. Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense. But I think, like you said, Leftovers, I think because it's a TV show format, it makes sense. Because I don't think in Endgame, like you said, they got the support group, they got all that, but that was just enough to give you an idea of where the world was at. Even the line with Captain America saying, "Oh, I saw whales in the Hudson River," and I'm like, the Hudson River would be clean, wouldn't it?
Right. Hell, the Baltimore Harbor might be cleaner than.
I mean, so but
maybe 100 years, but
it's amazing too. Like, I really feel the Watchmen put itself in this place to where, again, we're only focused on Tulsa. How is DC? How is Texas? How is California? How's the rest of the world in regards to race relations? Did the 7th Cavalry expand outside of that? That kind of stuff. So,
and how did Rorschach's, like, how did this go from New York? Does all the Watchmen took place primarily in New York, come all the way down to Oklahoma, you know what I mean, and have that philosophy grow there. But I think Watchmen, the original book was such an amazing thing to me because I didn't read it till the late '90s, I think, for the first
I read
time.
it in high school, so
Yeah. But he predicted how we were going to view Superman, how we were going to view superheroes. Like Superman snapping in the neck of a bad guy.
yeah.
Like you could almost go to watch. It's like he was kind of right. The whole edgelord thing in the '90s and all that stuff. And I think that what I like about this show is they're dealing with issues that we're only just begun to deal with in real political life. You know what I mean? Reparations has been something the black community's been saying about, but now it's being said by people running for president and people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how that can affect it, how people are going to deal with it, because it doesn't matter what's fair or it's right. It's how people are going to feel about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, because it is for the reparations to only be in one state. That shows you how difficult trying to implement reparations statewide is. Because I mean, there's no way to try to do a statewide, like a United States wide reparations. So doing it in Tulsa, like you said, it has to be, did your family reside in Tulsa? Did they live there?
Right. This is a big thought experiment.
Because I'm pretty sure each and every one of our families, we probably got family that was in another state. And if we get reparations, I guess we got to move to this state, in order to get the money for it. I mean, right. I guarantee you, I probably got like North Carolina. I probably have to move my behind to North Carolina in order to get any sort of reparations. Probably. Because that's where that's back. most actually, I'm not even gonna say probably. I want to say most likely because that's a good chunk of my mom's side of the family. North Carolina, all North Carolina. So it had to be like, North Carolina down south. They had to have been like, so. That's the way it'll work if we were going to be real.
But this is a big thought experiment, right? Because the original Watchmen, the thought was nuclear war. That was what they worried about. The Cold War in the 80s, they were worried about nuclear war. Now we're worried about social upheaval. We don't believe in our systems anymore. There's racial dynamic and ethnic and cultural changes happening really rapidly. And, there's so much extreme. Because this show isn't just extreme saying, like, if you're alt-right, there's some alt-left, far left stuff going on in this show, too. Like the FBI director just blatantly talking about white folks, even though he was a white folk. Well, he was Caucasian.
He's looking at Rorschach again, going back to that whole thing of scoffing at Rorschach's journal. Because if most folks don't remember, at the end of Watchmen, Rorschach's journal got to a tabloid, and that's how that journal kind of got put out there as propaganda because it's in a tabloid. Who's gonna believe a tabloid? But it's enough propaganda to kind of like get people thinking and coming out with these conspiracy theories and all that stuff, which that makes sense.
And they're right, just like in real life. Some of our conspiracy theories are right. And their spirit's like, hey, I don't think that was an alien dimensional squid psychic thing that came and got us. I think it was the government. You almost got it. You're a little bit off.
Yeah. Not as real, man.
I mean, it's that's what I'm saying. It's just crazy seeing the dynamics of how race is and stuff like with this. Like I said, with the police rounding up everybody, them basically like, all right, well, he's done. We're gonna have to put the hood back on and drop you off for our police safety and stuff, and it's like, oh wow, okay. So and like I said, they're still trying to figure out the cavalry and like I said, again, it goes back to who's really the good guys.
Right.
Exactly.
And even if you have the power, you're impotent. Dr. Manhattan can't change human nature, as he said. You police have the authority, but they can't stop. You can't stop this hate welling up because we're all caught in the policies and things like that.
I ain't saying I feel bad for the cavalry, but again, it's kind of like us as black people. It's like we get rounded up and stuff because somebody like the Central Park Five, for instance, all these kids get rounded up to kind of who did this, who raped this woman there, and that's how the cops are here. But turns out it could be one of their own. As far as
what I'm saying is that the first, I don't know y'all interactions with police, but the first time you have an interaction with the police and me personally, like when I was a kid, I had a cop pull a gun in my face. When I was working in Baltimore City as a social worker, I had unmarked cops come up and put guns in my face because they were wondering when I was coming in, things like that. That changes perception, right? And from a cop's perception, they're trying to be safe. They're trying to do their job. They're trying to enact policies that they might not have created, but now they have to implement, right? But from our perspective, well, now I'm a F the police kind of squad. You know what I mean? If you get beat up and your body violated and your person violated and you didn't do anything, that's a really good recruitment tool. Like they talk about for a terrorist and stuff like that. Hey, I'm just chilling and a smart drone comes and kills my family. yeah, you know, yeah, I'm not, and again, I'm not saying that a response to violence or extremism is the logical way or the correct way to go. What I'm saying is humans have a natural response to oppression or what they feel is unjust,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
we all get
that's
caught up in that system.
yeah. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's just that everything, like I said, these, like I said, 2 and 3, like were really kind of like the big turning points about where these characters are. And again, this is like what 9 episode series, and I'm just like,
yeah,
what's gonna happen? Because we don't know. Because like I said, other than the V thing with him possibly being on Mars and all that stuff, and the funeral attack, it's like it's clearly leading up to something huge.
yeah,
And as much as we might think on the surface that the 7th Cavalry has something to do with it, I think it's false. Like the 7th Cavalry is just there, like you said, as a response to everything there, but it has to be somebody else that's like pushing all this happening.
They're a symptom at best. We just don't know why there's many squids raining down so much that they have a service that cleans them up.
I think it's because of Veidt's little thing with the squid. I think it has something to do with that.
Could be. Like,
I mean, because clearly ain't Manhattan fucking with everybody on that. Clearly it ain't. You know.
And we know he's coming back. How many episodes is this show?
It's 9 episodes.
It's 9
total.
episodes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask y'all a question, and then this is gonna be a triggered question, but just for the sake of time, I'm gonna ask you, and then I'm gonna ask a backup question. So,
all right.
Do you guys think that the 7th Cavalry are another rendition of the Ku Klux Klan? Do you think that they are targeting African Americans and want to kill or diminish Black people, Jews, homosexuals? Do you think that's what the 7th Cavalry are? There's a reason why I'm asking you that question. I'll just answer that first.
Well, I mean, I feel that they're galvanized by the situation that they're in, so to speak. Because I don't know who said it best. There was a whole thing of like, oh, hey, what was it? It was a whole thing of the 7th Cavalry's response to the aspect that if you're even slightly have any sort of racial kind of bias, so to speak, you're going to be profiled for it. And I think they're a response to the constraint. And let's think about it in real life, though. There are a lot of folks that are like, well, who cares if I have a different opinion? I'm not racist. And I'm like, yeah, but in this world of Watchmen, even that mentality is just like, hey, you could be part of the 7th Cavalry, so we're going to profile you. So I think they're a response to, it's a little bit of a racism because you see how people respond to like when Angela got reparations from the Redford Act and how that kid in class was just like, hey, you got reparations? Like he was really like pissed off that she. So there's clearly a hate on that aspect and stuff. And like you said, the FBI dude was like, hey, you know how it is, man. You know, Black people start getting any sort of anything and stuff, there's a response to that. But I also feel on top of the racism, it's just a response to this is where the world's at now. They are feeling as though they're like the disenfranchised now.
Mm-hmm. So I could be completely off. So again, this is just like a theory, and I don't have a lot of.
This is a tricky question. There's a backup to us. Go ahead.
Okay. Right. So I think that the 7th Cavalry being labeled racist is kind of a misdirection, and I think that you're a traitor to your race might have been the human race. I think they're more against the power system and because again, we don't know what the rest of the world is really like. Part of me thought there was a cover. Remember in the DC universe when Batman realized that they had stole 10 minutes from him, and he came up with the brother eye type of thing. It was a response to the power and the misdirection. If you really believe the government sent us giant squid, let me backtrack. I think that it's the 7th Cavalry isn't just about race. I think they're the disenfranchised, and that there's a thing about power. I think that them being racist is a misdirection or an oversimplification by the powers that would be my unfinished thought.
Okay, all right, we'll stop right there. So now I'm gonna paint another picture for you. All right. So kind of going off what Anthony said a little bit. When Angela talked to the little boy, she was saying that he's not racist, that he is prejudiced. He doesn't understand well enough and he was brought up wrong. With it came to the captain was talking off of his personal perspective. Like you said, Anthony, we don't know what the rest of the world is like. Now, imagine if the 7th Cavalry didn't have these white hoods over their face, weren't all predominantly white men in Tulsa. Whose side would we be on? For real, for real. I bring that up because the way that they platformed and wrote this show, like we immediately are kind of like on the opposition. We're like, I'm gonna be on the police's side for this because like these dudes got, they're all predominantly white. They all have like these white hoods, and they seem like they are targeting us because that's what we've seen. We've seen them go. The first thing we see is like a brother got shot down. Yeah. What if it really was that he just don't like cops? What if it wasn't that he was a black man? You know what I'm saying? So I'm bringing that up.
I think it's probably because he doesn't like cops, but it's just because he's black. It's just a byproduct of the situation. Because it's not like the whole police squadron is all black people. Then it's like, okay, there's clearly some racism here, some schism, so to speak, that's happening.
and again, this goes back to what Anthony said. So imagine if they didn't have all white. They had just black masks, and we don't know what they look like. Whose side will we be on? And that's the thing that the show is so effing with us, y'all. It really is messing with our personal connections with what we perceive as right and wrong.
Our biases,
what we felt, what our actual livelinhoods are like.
There's a hell of a lot of bias and stuff. If we're gonna keep it real here for a second. I mean, it's just, and that's what makes it weird because we as black people, we're consuming this show. We're smiling like, oh man, these white people are really getting it like we are. But then you think back, like you're saying, you think back to it, it's like, yeah, who really is the good guys here? Like, because I can smile at it, but at the same time, it's like those guys at the trailer park didn't really deserve to get beaten like that. Like, it's like, damn, like. I ain't saying I feel bad, but I feel bad. Like,
I think that at the end of the day, while in history we have grievances, but people are people, right? If you if you believe we're all equal, that means the situations were different. If you had, you know what I mean? If you're hungry enough, you're probably going to steal, right? Sam, you're one of the most like stand-up guys I know. But if your kid was starving and there was a plate glass window between you and a loaf of bread, and your kid might die. And there's a brick. Stealing. He's stealing, right? Right. And I think you ever see or read Les Mis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's whole thing. That whole thing is that we're circumstantial. Like we're circumstantial creatures. Yeah. It's not so much about race. It's like, what do you do when you're in power or when you have it easy, when you're not starving? What do you do when you are starving? What do you do when you are abused? And how do you act out by that? Yeah. And when I was explaining that theory to somebody in a predominantly like black geek site, someone was like, I don't want you apologizing for our oppressors, and I was like, what? I'm not apologizing for anybody. Yeah. And I tried to quote some book stuff about it, and they didn't care. But I think this show is a really good vehicle, and I hope that we don't miss it or waste it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm speaking off the top of my head.
No. I think this is perfect conversation because I think there are people that are actually missing it because for real, take the Black Panthers, and the Black Panthers are telling everybody, yo, they're putting drugs in our people's streets, and everybody's like, no, that's a conspiracy. What are you guys talking about? You guys are the terrorists. Like, you guys are going and doing all this commotion. Like, no, these are facts. Like, we were good. We've had these amount of people lost. And then they're just getting attacked and they're going on the fence. So it could be the same exact situation.
Yeah.
It literally could be.
So this last episode I just watched with a Filipino woman, and she looked at me and she was like, I don't get why black people didn't just have a bunch of guns too. And I tried to explain to her what Reagan did with the gun laws with the Black Panthers and how they pretty much just went to their house and murdered them. How Fred Hampton, and then how they spun it like they were just terrorists and things like that. And I was trying to explain, like, you have these things that happen, and if you're in power, you can spin it the context a certain type of way. You can spin that PR a certain type of way, and it's really easy to blanketly label everybody. They did it with Black Lives Matters, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Everybody,
so much misconceptions about it because it was just confusion how the media spun it and stuff. It was like, because even within the black community, when it came to Black Lives Matter, you had a lot of people like, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter, blah, blah, blah. And then it turned into like some black people that were kind of like, well, is Black Lives Matter really for Black lives? You know, and then and then it spun into white people eating that up, and it was just so yeah, I can see, and I'm surprised it hasn't happened with the 7th Cavalry where their stuff gets twisted back on them a bit.
We don't know yet, and messages take on a life of their own, and they get lost very easily or twisted or manipulated, and I think that, I mean, even with even y'all know my thoughts on Star Wars now, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna get to a rant.
Yeah.
But me and Lucas were in some kind of chat, and the guy said something about, this guy was saying something about, you have a problem with women or sexuality or something like that. And me and Lucas both laughed, and I was like, Anthony doesn't care who does what with him. Like, I just don't like this movie. But it's really easy to do a blanket statement of, you know, you're homophobic or you're transphobic, instead of saying, why do you think this way? And I like a show that actually says you need to think, right? We're not going to treat you like you're stupid. We're not going to treat you like you can't critical think. But if you want to get this show, you're going to have to think. And you can enjoy it. You can enjoy it on many different levels, but it's going to spark some conversation. And that's what I'm really liking about this.
Yeah.
Y'all know I love to hate things that come back from the past and be like, you ruined it. But
I mean, let's be real. I like that the show, because like I said, we're rooting for like, oh man, Angela, she's kicking ass. This black woman's kicking ass. But then, like, as much as we are kind of like loving her as a character, again, her in that police is like, is she really the good guy? Because you saw in the first episode.
Would you want her pulling you over? Would you want her pulling you over?
I mean, you saw how she took homeboy after you saw how she took homeboy from that. She took homeboy from the looking glass room, and you're thinking, okay, he didn't give him an answer. He clearly innocent. She took him in that room and beat him. Like, I don't know how bad she beat him.
Piss and blood was coming out the door.
Yeah, so it's like,
that's a straight up Rorschach callback.
Right. So my thing is, imagine if that's the hero, but if that's you that didn't do anything and they kidnap you, throw you in a box, have some guy, not even that, have cops pull you over with masks on. Have cops pull you over with masks. How do you file a complaint against a mask? Right? And even from the cop side,
person in a yellow mask beat me up. I don't know what to tell you, man.
That guy buzzed that gun 3 times to that cop, and it got stuck. And
hey,
so,
look, man, we still haven't look. We have to sit there and also admit, before the chief of police died, he basically was like, "Yo, we're gonna let the choppers fly." Like, so now cops can just freely shoot people now. So that's even more of there, because again, everybody's already a mess. Looking Glass, I ain't gonna lie, I think he is kind of like the Rorschach replacement, but he's not like, he doesn't have that mentality like Rorschach. Yeah, he's not hyper violent like Rorschach, because even when the shit was popping off at that trailer park, he was just looking at it like, oh, God damn it. Like, I really didn't want this to happen. Like, I just want to do my job, like, what is going on here? Like,
But Red Scar was like, you don't want in on this, Angela?
Red Scar is the one that's going to get everybody killed. That's like, real talk.
This is your favorite thing to do, is to come down these trailer parks and beat some heads.
Wait, Russian? He's not even American.
Right? I think he is. I think he might be American just by virtue of him moving there.
Unless that accent is fake, you wearing a mask doesn't mean crap in a southern town in the Midwest.
I mean, but it's just wild. He's like, and the thing of it is, with Homeboy dead, everybody's like, who's the leader? Angela is the reluctant leader, but like the red dude is just like, yo, we're gonna fucking beat some heads in. I don't care what you got. Like, I don't care.
The red boy, the guy that you cool with, right? But you can't take him to every single situation because there might be a fight for no reason. And like, you're trying to have a chill night. But you gonna go over the court and be like, I don't even know why he fighting. I'm pretty sure.
It sucks. I don't know why. This is dumb. This is so stupid. This is dumb.
I know, sir, you probably didn't do anything, but I'm gonna have to punch you because that's my boy.
He's the one that's really gonna fuck it up for everybody, just because he's just 100% full tilt. Like, yo, we're gonna crack some heads, and they're trying. And the thing is, I don't feel that their method, again, just like mirroring real life, you're not getting the results.
Right.
None of the 7th Cavalry is taking taking the blame for it.
Also, do you get the feeling that Looking Glass lives in those trailer parks?
I think he does, just because he has the mask on. Nobody knows who he is and stuff, and so he's more closer, eyes to the ground kind of thing. Of like, I don't think, put it this way, I think Looking Glass knows that nobody in that trailer park did it, but
I
he's
think
along with it just because it's like, look, I'm just gonna go through the motions on this and see where it goes.
they showed his house and it looked like the inside of a trailer, and I'll be like, that'd be a really good character thing if he's the cop that lives in a neighborhood that's being abused. like
he's the black person.
Right, he's that black officer pretty much.
So I think he knows, like, hey, this is just what it is and stuff. And look, I like the Looking Glass room and how he explained to her, like, yo, this is just the confirmation bias. I thought that was interesting.
The racism detector.
That's all it really is. It's racism. It's the racism detector. It's like, hey, this is we're just gonna sit there and hit their confirmation bias till we get the truth out. And like I said, so far it's not working to the degree that he wants it to work.
Yep. So, cool mask though. Cool mask.
Oh yeah, it's a dope mask. I ain't going to even deny that. That's So I mean, it is what it is. So, man, I am curious if they're going to actually throw us a bone and actually show us Dr. Manhattan.
I thought in one of the trailers it showed him picking up a mask or something in a suit, right?
Did one of the trailers show that? I mean, my thing is this: like, is he going to be in human form? I mean, because like I said, we don't know if he can go human form, but is he going to be in human form?
Yeah, I really, that line sticks out to me. Like, he can't go human. No, he can't go human. How do you know what this guy could do?
Because we know next episode, I think was it Lady True pops up because she's the one that buys the corporation since Veidt's gone. I'm putting quotes here. Veidt's gone. So I'm curious because, like I said, that preview for the next episode, I'm like, how does she factor into it, and what does she do? So
didn't they show on Mars Dr. Manhattan was looking at the structure and the structure got destroyed and he was rebuilding structure? They said something like he was rebuilding structures or something like that.
I think so.
Oh man, I love a show I got to watch multiple times to get all the different angles.
I love it. I mean, I'm digging it. I'm digging how they're just going balls deep with the mythology. They are just like, no, we're gonna go full tilt in this, and you're gonna love it, and you're gonna enjoy it.
Man, I'm gonna give me a can of beans, a Rorschach mask, and take one of these rooms and put up like a diagram of their connecting, get my conspiracy theory going.
I mean,
I'm sad this is only 9 episodes. Like,
that's all it really needs. It's 9 episodes. That's all you really need. You don't really have to really go too crazy with it and stuff, but yeah, I guess that's it for the Watchmen. This has been great. I like these discussions. The show is so deep, just as deep. I might have to do a podcast on Jack Ryan because I'm loving that show and the nuance in that and stuff, because the nuance in Jack Ryan is great. They're not like going for the low hanging fruit for a lot of
even the first season. I'm still on the. I just started watching the second season yesterday, but it's good so far. I mean, but it's quality writing. It's quality writing.
Yeah, and I think you need quality. I think you needed quality writing for Watchmen. That's the only way this show was going to work. You had to be like, all right, we're going to get these people. We're going to make the show. And I think because he has that leeway to do this 30 years after the end of the book.
Yep.
It's as long as he's keeping to respect of what would this world, because again, we don't know what this world would be like. We're theoretically showing, okay, what would the world be like 30 years after everything gone? Okay, that gives them room to do all these what ifs, and it lines up with what Watchmen was in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you can still respect the old characters by treating them how they be treated, and fuck Rorschach, But the fact that it's a testament to the character that Rorschach had this much of an impact on society 30 years after he died. There's such an impact where you had what the comedian did and what Adrian did, and all, like, such a good yeah. I can't wait to see where it's going. I'm a little jealous of you, Sam, because I know you. Every time we say something, you bite your lip, like, if you only knew.
See, here's the thing, folks. Sam, we're probably not going to go full tilt on what Sam was saying until probably episode 5. And that's when we could probably spill the beans on like this, because Sam told me episode 5 is when things pop off, and I'm like, all right,
Look,
you don't even have to say
look,
anything else. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be dope. I can't wait. Let's see where
any
this goes.
government agency needs to recruit somebody who keep their mouth shut. It is Sam, because Sam ain't said nothing.
Hey, Sam's a bigger person than I am, because like when me and him saw Luke Cage season 2 like 2 months before it even dropped.
Oh wow!
And that's on top of me and D being able to talk to Cheo Coker like a week after we saw this end of season 2. Me and D look at each other like, I don't know how to keep my mouth shut about this. Like, I can't. Like, this is crazy. I gotta watch the second season again. Like, it's because it sucks, because you see this stuff so early, and you're just sitting back like, oh my god.
And I bet you Sam can't wait to say some stuff to us too. Like, no, it was this. Like,
yeah.
Did you miss it? Did you miss it? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It is really hard. This is the best show I've seen all year, and
they needed this after Game of Thrones.
Yeah. To give context, and I said this in my my first review, that every single episode that I've watched so far has been a 10 out of 10 episode.
Oh yeah,
and
really,
every single episode has gotten better from the last. Yeah. Like, to the point that the 6th episode was the last one I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to describe that. I'm going to put you that word. I don't even know how to describe that.
I mean, yeah.
I saw a reviewer, like maybe like when I was waiting for y'all, I popped this thing. Somebody was saying this last episode should have been the pilot episode. And I was like, no. This episode was perfectly fitted for me. Like, everything doesn't have to be action set piece or you know what I mean? Like, you can have a slow burn. You can have a slow, build up to, and this is a perfectly pacing. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Pacing.
Said that? Somebody said the last episode should have been the first episode?
Yeah, there was where I was watching Entertainment, I can look it up what I was watching, but
Entertainment Weekly or
it was a podcast.
I'll comment on that. I'll say I understand why they said that, because if any episode is gonna get an Emmy or a Golden Globe, it's gonna be that episode. That episode, for real, could never mind. I can't say that. But I get why they said that. I really do get why they said that. I understand.
I mean, for sure.
It's a good episode, but it doesn't. I'm glad it was the 3rd episode. You know what I mean? Like, to me, the pacing of the show is perfect so far, and that's a hard thing to do with a limited run like this. And again, I just keep going back to the writing. This is, do you know what I'm saying? Like we just mentioned Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones pacing has been off since at least season 6, arguably season 6, but definitely 7, and 8. The pacing was kind of weird. This show, I'm flowing with it. This happened when it needed to happen. Before you bring in, so Alan Moore said something about his League of Extraordinary Gentlemen series, the comic series. He's like, I didn't use Sherlock Holmes or Dracula because they would have took away from the other characters.
Oh, hell yeah.
Having Silk Spectre come in too early would have taken away from the characters like Looking Glass and, Sister Night, and let the new characters get some, get some traction before you bring in the big star. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you have to. I mean, that's the only way it works.
And if your show can't survive, if the new characters can't swim a little bit on their own without the old characters, then they're not well written characters. In my opinion. Yeah. In my opinion.
Nah, they're not. I mean, because it's that's just what it is. But then, like I said, I think the HBO, when they got this show, they was like, hey, we see some season value with this show. So sky's the limit for the show overall and stuff. I can't wait to see what happens. But anyways, folks, that is it for this recap, and I guess we'll see you next time when we do episode 4. Hopefully we can do episode 4 or 5 like immediately, but I actually like doing this, so we'll catch you guys later. Peace out.
Thanks for the invite, guys.
No problem.
Man.